Listening. Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. Comment below if you're so motivated to do so. This is Wonders of a Black Woman. Well, Monique's son decided to speak out. I want everyone to realize that these celebrities are not who you think they are. I mean, they have a public image, and their public image determines their income, their opportunities, public perception, and things like that. So just because someone comes out and they appear to be sincere doesn't mean that they're telling you the whole story. And Monique is one of those people. She seems like she's coming across like she's really being honest and forthright, but she's not. Nobody is perfect. No one. And Jesus didn't come back to earth as a fat black woman named Monique. So let's just clear that up right there. He certainly didn't come back as her fake daddy, Sidney Hicks. So let's just clear that up. Now, in the beginning, when Monique came out with her whole story and stuff like that, I was thinking, wow, you're standing up for black people, for fairness and equality in Hollywood. But when she kept only mentioning Tyler and Oprah, I was wondering how genuine she was. And then when she fought for her Netflix deal, they made her an offer. And if they didn't have to make her an offer. They made her an offer. She did not like the offer. Okay, that's where your lawyers or agent is supposed to negotiate. You don't run to the public and tell them to boycott Netflix, and then when you get what you want, then they're supposed to watch Netflix. It just all seemed like it was all about herself. And I'm going to need black people to stop always hopping on what they think is the popular opinion without really looking through everything. Oh, it seems like, we stand with Monique. That's the popular opinion. So that's what we're just going to keep going with. But more of you that do that and you don't look at everything that's going on, it seems like you're just hopping on to something that's a bunch of bull crap. None of you stop to think, why are they just calling out Tyler and Oprah? Why is she only fighting for her pay? But yet she's always saying that she's advocating for black women, the people behind me and stuff like that. The people behind me. Yeah, you're advocating for people behind you, all right. The only person that she's advocating for the people that's coming up behind her is Sydney. She's not advocating for anyone else. Because if they were really trying to advocate for fairness and equality for all black people, then Oprah and Tyler is not all of Hollywood. If Oprah and Tyler said that they found her difficult to work with, that's their opinion. And time shows, over time, it shows that she is a difficult person to work with. I wouldn't be surprised if her and Cat Williams don't fall out soon. But Cat is nothing to fuck with. He will roast her ass like a pig at a luau. So, I mean, crazy people know who to fuck with. That's just the bottom line. But her son, I think it's important to listen to what her son has to say, simply because she's so unforgiving and unrelenting to Oprah. She said that Oprah had her parents on the show. Oprah asked her from the very gate, did you want me to shut it down? I'll shut it down. She said no, let him come on, let her brother come on the show. Oprah and the producers don't have to keep going back and forth to Monique with every single detail of what's coming on the show. So, but she felt that was distasteful. Okay, Monique did admit that Oprah apologized if you think that I did anything wrong, because in her opinion, she may not have did. In her opinion, she may not think that she did anything wrong. She may not think that she did anything wrong because she asked you if it was okay to bring him on the show. She said yes. Okay, but you're not the executive producer of the show, so she's not going to run back to you with every little detail of every little twist and turn that's coming up in producing this show. If she didn't want her to do it, she should have said something. She asked her in the beginning. She apologized. If you think that I did something wrong, then, I apologize. But you got to be careful of people like Monique, because when they, and this is something that you need to know in your personal life. Somebody who is admiring you and looking at you and saying that they want to be like you got to be careful of people like that, because those are the people that actually want to be you. And if they can't be you, then they'll try to destroy you. Okay, you don't F with Oprah, you don't F with Oprah. Why is her name always in your mouth every single interview you do? You want to pretend as though you and Sydney are the second coming of Christ, but yet you're so unforgiving. And you can't say you're forgiving because nearly 20 years later, you're still talking about a project that you worked on with this woman. You don't need Oprah to tell people not to work with you. They can look and peep and see what you're doing with other people, and other people who make you offers to work. D.L. Hughley offered you to come on and do a show with him. How that turned out. The Precious thing with Lee Daniels and Oprah and Tyler, how that worked out. When Tyler tried to extend an olive branch, you're recording him and going to the public. Every time she doesn't get what she wants out of somebody, even if it's just the joke that DL show did, where it was like the Corinne Steffens or Lee Daniels or the condom joke. It's a joke. These comedians don't have to apologize for jokes. That's a part of the game. They don't have to apologize for jokes. If you didn't like the joke, you should have roasted them and come back with something. But instead, she takes offense to it to the point where she's basically dragging this man, bringing his daughter's situation out, going on stage. Then she wants to pretend as though she wasn't talking about his wife when she was. She never apologizes for anything she does wrong. And that's what her son is saying. You pretend as though you met this man, Sydney, and he's just raised and elevated you to this Christ-like status of humanity and perfection and truth and honesty. But yet you're so unrelenting and unforgiving, and you don't let things go. You want to be God and drag people to all hell freeze over and stuff. What is that? And in this video, I'm going to get into when Monique crushed opportunities for other people of color. She wants to talk about how people have blackballed her. Oprah don't need to open up her mouth and say anything. People will look and see how you're moving in the Hollywood streets, how you respond when people give you contracts and try to work with you. Netflix didn't have to offer her anything. They come to her to offer her something, and she turns around and sues them and telling people to boycott them. DL offered to put her on stage, then you turn around dragging him, his daughter, his wife. Come on now. Do you think that people need to say, oh, boycott her? The only thing they have to do is let people see what they've experienced trying to work with her. I wouldn't be surprised if she don't come at Kat next. But Kat is a little too much for Monique, so she better keep it. She better keep it straight with Kat. Because Kat will roast her like she's never. He'll incinerate that woman. Here's a little bit of what her son had to say.
I am Shalon. I am a stand-up comedian, Monique's oldest son. I guess I felt the need to make this video to just provide some context into this false narrative about her praying to the universe in order to reconcile our relationship or whatever the hell it is. I wrote it all down so that way I don't go all over the place and get emotional or anything like that. So I'm gonna talk like I'm reading a script, but it's just gonna help me kind of stay together. But to address the Club Shay Shay interview that she did where she states that she prays to the universe in regards to reconciling our relationship, as I stated, is odd. My mother and I both know that that is a very false narrative, and I would like to free her of having to continue telling that lie. Faith without work is dead, and neither one of us cares to put forth any effort to reconcile with the other. We are separate, as she put it, because she doesn't care to be my mother any more than I care to be her son. Neither one of us has had the desire to reach out to the other in a very long time, and I don't think that either of us anticipates that feeling ever returning. Speaking with my mother directly, in my experience, will either lead to some odd newfound moment of clarity in regards to how she was as my mother, or she retreats back to daddy to move forward with a conversation. And I'm tired of hearing my mother's truths. Newsflash, I'm not sure if people know, but standing in your truth doesn't make you noble. I'm not sure if people are aware of that. But responding this way, I feel as though it allows me to say my piece uninterrupted. To those wondering, well, why say something now? Call it a form of therapy for me, I suppose. But when her daddy had intentionally stated that they have 3 sons, but his wife is on the internet talking about the 4th son in a video that has millions of views, that rubbed me the wrong way. But anyway, to inform a child that you are not interested in being a mother at a time when that kid is the only kid that has the potential to lead a child to believe that you are not interested in them specifically. But to take it a step further, you also admit, my mother had also admitted to me that she didn't do the best job that she could do, which would also make one begin to question, all of your past decisions and prior emotional interactions. But to be completely honest and fair, those were things that I was willing to get over. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. But my mother showed a clear lack of humility, compassion, and consideration when taking any level of accountability for those things. My mother does a fantastic job of acknowledging a lot of things, but she doesn't take accountability very well, and anything that she may take true accountability for, it's only at her convenience, in my experience. But if I had to guess, though, her interest in being a mother probably started around the time that she married her daddy and had his children. But that interest, obviously seemed one-sided, and as it should have been. By that time, I'm in my late teens, so to some degree, the neglect becomes easier to hide or validate, I guess you could say. There are now 2 baby boys in the house, that require attention. But still during that time, however, I still watched her enjoy the love and admiration of total strangers more than my own. To this very day, my mother has never expressed to me when, if ever, she became interested in me as her son. That did lead me down a path of questioning my self-worth and struggling to understand the value of a mother in a child's life. In the interview, she also states that she gave me an apology, but an apology to a son from a mother that consciously showed no interest in him holds no weight. There are still women to this day that my mother will give credit to for being more of a mother to me than she ever could. Her assistant, my cousin, being one of them. Every time, though, that my mother would state that she was right here whenever I was ready, That ideology still blows my mind today, that a person could openly admit to being an uninterested, not put my best foot forward type of parent and be so self-centered that they still express to the kid, you have to come to me when you're ready. You got to come to me for us to make this right.
Right.
Okay. But I'm not sure what my mother could possibly think that she has shown me in the past or have for me now that's not money, goodness gracious, that would make me want to come to her or whatever those feelings are supposed to be. A mother is supposed to be the first woman that a boy falls in love with. I loved my mother very much, but my mother loved things more than she loved me, and she would validate her love for me by giving me things and would proceed to call me ungrateful or inconsiderate if said things did not have the desired effect. I couldn't imagine what it's like to be her, though, to ask God for what you want, and then he gives you what you need, though, only for you to ignore it and have the audacity to ask God for something else. And I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I didn't do that. And when he told you no, you went to the universe instead. By no means, though, do I want to give off any type of an impression that I am a victim of anything. It's not the case. As you can see, I'm smiling from ear to ear. I'm alive. I'm happy. I'm a dad. I'm healthy, I think. I drink a lot of water. I'm getting over a cold now. I still have my days just like everybody else. And, there were a few things that she did teach me along the way. I did learn how not to love from my mother. I also learned to make sure that I never lose so much of who I am that I have to validate it through another person. And though I feel as though, in hindsight, I think she did it reluctantly, I do appreciate my mother, for showing me what the top of the mountain looks like. You know what I'm saying? It did give me perspective on what hard work and dedication can get you, but I don't want something like that at the cost of giving up something that I created. I don't want it that bad. And speaking of creations, I genuinely, truly, I really did want my mother to have a relationship with my daughter. Yeah. I even fought through those intrusive thoughts that were, if she wasn't interested in you, what makes you think she's going to be interested in your kid? But it took my mother no time at all to prove that those intrusive thoughts were correct. But what I can say, good for her, the universe did, bless her with three other sons. And God willing, I'm sure that all three of them are adults now. So I'm sure that one of them, God willing, if not all three of them, will make her the grandmother that she wants to be. I still look forward, to that moment for her. But overall, when it comes to the boys, though, I am happy that whenever they do hear me talk, sorry, my phone did something weird, but whenever they hear me talk, they don't know what it is. They can't relate to what it is that I'm saying. My experience with my mother is not their experience, with our mother. So my prayer for her and them is that they continue to see her the way that they see her now. I do also want to make sure that I say thank you to my mother for giving me life. Without that moment in time, I wouldn't have had my little one. But outside of that moment, there isn't anything that either of us has to offer the other. In my opinion, it's a waste of God's time and the universe's time for praying for something that you were not willing to put forth any effort to obtain. Putting the work into becoming Monique is more important to my mother than being my mother. And I do not believe that it was never about her being there and waiting for me, but it was supposed to be about me being there and waiting for her. My mother's value had reached such a low point in my life that I no longer found it necessary to either want to wait for her or even go to her. But like I said, man, I'm super grateful that she has the opportunity to do it all over again. I'm happy for her. I hope the Cat Williams tour goes well, but the narrative that she prays for us to reconcile is a false narrative. It's not real, and I'd appreciate it if she stopped saying stuff like that.
Wow. Wow. Um, this young man is just, I mean, he's amazing. Absolutely amazing. Um, he is right on so many levels. I mean, he articulated that so beautifully. He articulated that so beautifully. He really did. He articulated that so very well. You know, Monique is more interested in being MO apostrophe NIQUE than she is of being MONIQUE. Right? And like a lot of people in Hollywood, she's willing to sacrifice her son for her fame and fortune. And it's fitting that she would get an Oscar for a movie about an abusive, lunatic mother. And it's also interesting that when she gets this Oscar and when she does this movie where she got this Oscar, that's where she fell out with all of the people. Because sometimes when we get to that point of heightened success, when you're not right, you end up sabotaging it. Because it's sort of like how you got that blessing, you may have not got it the right way in the first place. See, she sacrificed her son to get to that height of success. And when she got there, all hell broke loose because of how she got there. You know, some people feel like they're going to get it by any means necessary. They don't care if they have to sell ass over ankle. They don't care if they have to do it on the casting couch. They don't care if they got to sacrifice somebody. They want this fame and they want this fortune. And she grew up idolizing Oprah. And when she finally got up to that mountaintop, and she thought that she was standing next to an icon that she idolized, she began to envy that icon. And I'm going to say right now, I know all of the controversy surrounding Oprah and Tyler and this and that. I'm not speaking on all that right now. I'm speaking on Monique and the particular issue with Monique. And this whole daddy thing. And a lot of times when we see successful women or men, you can see it with a man too. When you get to this period of success, depends on how you got there and who you crapped on along the way to get there. It's always somebody that wiggles in close, usually an intimate partner that comes in and helps try to pull it down. And I've seen it destroyed with some people, all because of who they chose to partner with. Oh, she really had it going on, but she ended up hooking up with this guy, and you know he's causing all these dramas in her life, and dot dot dot, and so forth and so on. You know, look at what happened with Jonathan Majors. It can happen with men too. You get these people come in your life, and they come crashing everything down. It's because you don't have clean hands on your way to getting there. You know what I mean? You don't have clean hands on your journey there. And she's not worshiping God, all this, the universe and all of that. What the heck is all of that? Just like her son said, she's not genuine about anything that she's saying. Not at all. She's not genuine about anything that she's saying. You know, because people like Monique only care about Monique. And she found herself a yes person that knows how to manipulate her, knows her well enough from childhood how to push all the buttons he need to push so he can ride her fanny on into the comfort zone. You know, what did this man have going on before he he got with Monique on that level? You know, was he a successful businessman? What was he doing before he started being her quote unquote manager? And then, you know, you have to be careful when you're bringing your men into what you already got going on. You know, you look at somebody, for example, like Monique and Sydney's relationship, compare that to Oprah and Stedman's relationship. When Monique gets with Sydney, her career starts to go downhill. When Oprah got with Stedman, she becomes a billionaire. So, I mean, obviously, you know, people are saying that, oh, Sydney's a king, Sydney's this, Sydney's that, and so forth and so on. You know, you can miss me with all that. Because if I'm partnering with somebody and my career has gone downhill, and only thing I could do is keep ranting and raving and going on and on about Oprah for the past 20 years, then obviously something isn't too happy in your life. You know, look at her. Oprah didn't molest her or rape her or anything like that. Why does she keep going on and on about Oprah like that? Her son, Monique's son, who has more of a grievance with his mother than she could ever have with Oprah about them not giving her money to do a promotional tour. Was Oprah supposed to go in her own personal pocket? Oprah's not obligated to go in her personal pocket and give her a damn thing. If the studios did not want to give her the money, then that's what they chose to do. If that was not usual and customary, or if she did not negotiate that beforehand, or she decided that she wanted that and they decided they didn't want to give it, boom, there it is. It's just as simple as that. Keep your cheeks clapping on out the door if that's the case. But to keep sitting roasting this woman for 20 years over that is a bunch of BS.